Everyone notices when the grocery bill spikes or the lease renewal jumps. For years, we've assumed these stubbornly high prices for chicken, pork, and rent were simply the result of standard market forces. Historically, if regulators wanted to prove those prices were the result of a cartel, they needed a smoking gun. Antitrust law looked for secret meetings, covert phone calls, or executives shaking hands in a back room to fix prices. That century-old standard was tested in May of 2026, when the Justice Department announced a settlement with a little-known Indiana data company called AgriStats. The government accused AgriStats of helping the nation's largest meat processors coordinate prices, but there was no allegation of a secret meeting. In this case, there were no phone calls and no explicit agreements. The data infrastructure itself did the work. By plugging their accounting systems into a shared hub, these companies moved beyond the traditional legal definition of an agreement. To understand why this system is so effective, you have to look at why cartels usually fail. Economists call it the monitoring problem. Even if competitors agree to keep prices high, the arrangement is inherently unstable. Every participant has a massive financial incentive to quietly undercut their rivals, steal a major customer, like a national grocery chain, and capture the extra profits. This chart shows how that instability plays out. Without a way to monitor the market, one firm drops its price to $8 to win market share. The rivals start losing sales, but they can't tell if it's due to normal market fluctuations or a cheater. That uncertainty breeds paranoia, and the arrangement collapses into a price war. Sustained coordination requires a mechanism that ensures any cheater is caught instantly. If you drop your price, your competitors need to know immediately so they can match it, making your attempt to steal market share unprofitable. The stability of a modern cartel relies on the absolute certainty of constant, unblinking surveillance. AgriStats solved the monitoring problem. On the left, processors submitted highly confidential data, costs and margins, into the hub. The companies standardized this information and sent it back through detailed benchmarking reports. Competitors could see exactly how their pricing compared to rivals in near real time. Nielsen represents vertical data sharing on the right, moving retail data to manufacturers to understand demand. But on the left is horizontal sharing. AgriStats created a closed loop where proprietary costs flowed directly between rival processors, keeping buyers in the dark. Free markets rely on competitors guessing how their rivals will react. Sharing exact operational costs with direct rivals destroys the uncertainty that makes competition work. By removing that guesswork, the central hub strips away the market noise that usually allows companies to quietly lower prices and compete for customers. In this coordination model, firms start by maintaining $10 prices. If one company drops to $8 to secretly steal market share, shared data instantly detects the deviation. Rivals immediately retaliate by dropping prices to $7, punishing the cheater and making price competition useless. When technology automates the punishment of cheaters, it creates a stable, high-price equilibrium that is nearly impossible to break from the inside. Regulators are currently applying this same theory to the housing market, targeting companies like RealPage, whose software provides rent recommendations to large apartment complexes based on pooled landlord data. AgriStats represents the manageable version of this problem. In that case, data flowed through a hub, but human managers still read the reports to make decisions. We are now entering a more complex area with algorithmic pricing. As this graphic shows, Scenario 2 involves machine learning systems interacting repeatedly. They learn punishment strategies to sustain high prices. In Scenario 3, researchers explore strategic defection, training AI to exploit market volatility, undercutting rivals before algorithms detect the move. Price coordination no longer requires an executive's master plan. It is emerging as the mathematical byproduct of machines learning how to maximize profit in a shared environment. This creates a challenge for the legal system. Section 1 of the Sherman Act requires proof of an agreement, but two algorithms optimizing their outputs against each other do not agree to anything in the traditional sense. As these systems get better at hiding their behavior within normal market fluctuations, aggressive competition and algorithmic collusion become observationally identical to outside regulators. The smoke-filled room has been replaced. The infrastructure of market control has migrated to data pipelines, APIs, and cloud computing. The Justice Department's recent settlements signal a more aggressive approach, but until the law evolves to address algorithmic coordination, the most effective cartels in history will continue to operate in plain sight on shared servers.
Thanks for watching. For the deep dive economic analysis behind these stories, join us at EconWorks.com. Subscribe to stay informed on where law and economics meet the market. We'll see you in the next episode.